Hello. Today, in this chapter, Unit 5, we are going to study the motion of the system particles and a rigid body. In this chapter, we are going to cover the idea of center of mass of a two-particle system, momentum, conservation of motion, conservation and center of mass motion, center of mass of a rigid body, center of mass of a uniform rod, moment of force, torque, angular momentum, conservation of angular momentum and its application, equilibrium of rigid bodies, rigid body rotation and equation of rotational motion, comparative study of linear rotational motion, moment of inertia, radius of gyration, moment of inertia for the simple geometrical objects, and statement of the parallel and perpendicular axis theorem and their application. So, for the different bodies, motion with respect to their system and all, this is all we are going to study in this unit 5. So, here, firstly, the center of mass of a body is the point near to the within the body. The entire mass of the body is assumed or to be concentrated. See, if we have any body, so the center of mass is the point where the body and the entire mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated. This is what center of mass called. Center of mass of the two particle system. It is for the one particle, but what if if it is having a two particle system? Then the product of total mass of the system and the position vector of the center of mass is equals to the sum of product of masses of two particles and the respective position vectors. The position vector of the center of mass is given by the ratio of the sum product and the position vector of the two particles of the masses of the particle C. So, this will be equals to RCM M1 R1. The position vector is R. M is the mass of first. M2 is the mass of second. R2 is the position vector of the second one. It's whole upon mass of both M1 plus M2. So, this will be the center mass of two particle system. Now, center mass of a rigid body. A body is said to be rigid if it does not undergo any changes in shape by the action. If any forces has been applied, but there is no changes, then this body is called as rigid body. However, it is large, but it will not it will remain rigid only. Okay. Now, this equation mathematically we can say xcm is equals to integration of x dm, and the dm means mass only, the change in mass, and y will be equals to y dm and then dm dash. So, here and z, it will be with respect to three x's, x, y and z. But dm is equals to mass of the body, as I said. The vector expression for the corresponding these three scalar expression is RCM 1 upon m integration of x dm. Center of mass in motion. When any body is in the motion, then at that time what will be the center of mass? Velocity of the center of mass will be equals to, obviously, if any body is in the motion, then velocity will be there. Then at that time, velocity of the center of mass will be BCM 1 upon m, m1 v1 plus m2 v2, which is equals to till mn vn. So same acceleration ACM will be equals to 1 upon m, m1 a1 plus m2 a2 till mn an. Momentum of conservation. The total linear momentum of a system of particle is equals to the product of total mass of the system and the velocity of the center of mass. It means, and mathematically we can say dp upon dt, change in linear momentum with respect to time will be equals to external force applied, or dp upon dt will be equals to 0. This page is simply representing the concepts which we are going to cover. Radius of gyration, rigid body, center of mass, rigid body's acceleration of the center of mass of system, center of mass, motion of inertia and all. These are all topics we are going to cover. So, that equation will be equals to, if P is the constant, then P1 plus P2 up to Pn will be equals to constant. When the vector of the sum of external force acting on system is 0, the total linear momentum of the system remains constant. Always keep in mind, the external force acting on the system is 0, as we wrote, like F net equals to 0, then the total linear momentum of the system always remain constant. Moment of force or torque. Moment of force can be said as torque. So, torque will be equals to R cross F. The magnitude of the torque will be tau is equals to R F sine theta. Unit of torque. Torque has same dimension as the work, both being force time distance, it means ml square t minus 2. The T2 are, however, very different quantities. Now, angular momentum of a particle. The angular momentum L of the particle is about to origin of is equals to the cross or the vector product of R and T. Angular momentum L will be represented as L, and L will be equals to the product of cross or the vector product of R and P. Now, relation between torque and the moment of inertia. That will be tau is equals to I not alpha across alpha, where torque is equals to moment of inertia multiply angular acceleration. I is the moment of inertia and alpha is angular acceleration. Hence, the moment of inertia of a body about an axis is equals to the torque required to produce the unit angular acceleration in the body about that axis. Now, kinetic energy of a rotation. Here, kinetic energy of rotation K will be equals to half I omega square. This is the formula for the kinetic energy of uniform rotation. From this, it is clear that the kinetic energy of the linear momentum will be equals to half mv square of body, which is equals to the half product of mass of the body and square of the linear velocity. The kinetic energy of the rotation is half I omega square. Half of the product of the moment of inertia of the body square is the angular velocity of the body. So this is all about the kinetic energy of rotation. Now the relation between angular momentum and moment of inertia. We are simply reading the terms one by one, and then after that we are reading the relation between them. So relation between angular momentum and the moment of inertia. If a body is rotating about an axis, we have one axis, okay, and one body is there. The sum of moment of the linear momentum, it's all particle. The given axis is called angular momentum. It means L will be equals to I cross omega. And the SI unit of the angular momentum will be kg meter square per second. And its dimensional formula will be ml square t minus 1. Moving to the next, relation between the torque and rate of change of angular momentum. So it will be rate of change it's saying, so dl upon dt will be equals to tau or torque. The rate of change of angular momentum of the body is the external torque acting upon the body. Now, the conservation of angular momentum. It is no external torque is acting upon a body rotating about an axis, then the angular momentum of the body remains constant. This will be L is equals to I omega, or which we can say which is equals to constant. So this will be the conservation of angular momentum. Now rigid body rotation. We have studied rigid body, but now what will be the rigid body rotation? When a rigid body rotates about a fixed axis. We have one body and it is just rotating about a fixed axis. Every point of the body moves in a circle whose center is an axis and which lies in the plane of perpendicular to the axis. Therefore, V is equals to R omega. This is the relation between the magnitude of the linear velocity of particle in the body distance r from the axis of rotation, and the angular velocity will be A is equals to R into alpha. So, the linear acceleration of the particle body is equals to the product of angular acceleration of the body and the distance of the particle to the axis of rotation. Now, the equation of rotation of motion. Rotational motion, then V is equals to U plus AT and S is equals to UT plus half AT square. We know all three equation of motion. So these are the equation of linear motion. So similarly we can write equations for the rotational motion as well. Things will be different. Now the velocity will be the angular velocity, acceleration will be the angular acceleration. So with respect to that, we'll write the equation similarly. For rotation motion, omega will be equals to omega naught plus alpha t. Theta will be equals to omega naught t plus half a alpha d square. Omega square will be equals to omega square naught z square plus 2 alpha theta. So this is something important. We can write the equation. This is for the rotational motion and this is for only the linear motion. Also, the notations are there. Omega naught is the initial angular velocity. Omega is the final. Alpha is the angular acceleration and theta is the angular displacement. Now, moment of inertia. The moment of inertia of the body about an axis is given by the sum of product of the masses of individual particles with the square of the distance of particle from axis of rotation. I is equals to sum of mr square. From the body having a continuous distribution of matter, we can write it as I is equals to integration of r square dm. So radius of gyration of the body about the axis is perpendicular to the distance from the axis where the whole mass of the body were concentrated. The body shall have the same moment of inertia as it has the actual distribution of mass. When the square of the radius of gyration is multiplied with the mass of the given body and the moment of inertia, then the body of about the given axis will be I is equals to mk square. K is equals to under root of I upon m, where K is the radius of gyration. So this will be the equation for the radius of gyration. Now, theorem of a parallel and the perpendicular axis. We have axis, but this is for the parallel and the perpendicular axis. Firstly, we'll study the theorem for the parallel axis. This theorem will state that the moment of inertia I of a body about any axis is equals to the moment of inertia ICM about with respect to center of mass about the parallel axis its center of mass plus the product of mass of the body and the square of the perpendicular distance r between the two axes, or we can say I is equals to ICM plus MR square. This will be for the parallel axis. Okay, same for the perpendicular axis. This theorem states that the moment of inertia uniform plane lamina about an axis perpendicular to its plane is equals to the moment of inertia about any two mutually perpendicular axes in its plane intersecting on the first axis. It means Iz will be equals to Iy plus Ix. This will be the theorem for the perpendicular axis. Formula for the moment of inertia of certain rigid bodies. Moment of inertia for the rod in the thin bar where the length is L. About an axis, the passing center of mass acceleration and the perpendicular to its length ICM will be equals to ml square upon 12. These are some formulas. Second, about an axis to the perpendicular length and the passing through one end of the rod I will be equals to ml square upon 3. Moment of inertia, rectangular plate of the side A and the B about an axis perpendicular to its plane and the passing through the center of mass I will be equals to m a square plus b square, these are the sides, upon 12. Then moment of inertia of a ring of radius r will be about an axis passing through the center of the perpendicular to its plane I is equals to mr square. About a diameter id equals to half mr square. Moment of inertia, these are the very important formulas for some numerical values as well. So we'll have to keep in mind these all formulas. Moment of inertia circular disc at the radius r. At that time, I will be equals to half mr square. Moment of inertia of the solid cylinder length L and the radius r about to its own geometrical axis I will be equals to half of mr square. About an axis through the center of mass and perpendicular to its length m L square upon 12 plus r square upon 4. Moment of inertia of a hollow cylinder of outer radius r and the inner radius r about to its own geometrical axis I will be equals to half m. When the two radius are there, then r square plus r square, capital L square is the outer one and small is the inner one. About an axis through the center of mass perpendicular I will be equals to ml square upon 12, r square upon 4 and that square, small r square upon 4 when it is perpendicular to its length. Moment of inertia of a solid sphere about the diameter it will be equals to 2 by 5 mr square. About the tangent I is equals to 7 by 5 mr square. Moment of inertia of a hollow sphere about its diameter I will be equals to 2 by 5 m r5 minus r5 and then r cube minus r cube. Moment of inertia of the spherical cell about its diameter I will be equals to 2 by 3 mr square. So these are the formula of moment of inertia with respect to different cases, with the outer radius, inner radius, with respect to ring, with respect to circular disc and all. Now, comparison between the linear transition and the rotational motion. So, linear motion is simply single line motion, where the rotational is like circular motion, kind of motion. Here the displacement is x, but here the angular displacement will be theta. Here velocity is v is equals to dx by dt, where here omega will be equals to d theta upon dt, because obviously it is in the rotation motion, then there will be one angle. So it will be like d theta upon dt. Acceleration a will be dv upon dt and angular acceleration a will alpha is equals to d omega upon dt. Mass will be same, m, but here the mass will be moment of inertia I. And force F is equals to ma, here torque tau is equals to I alpha, work dw is equals to fds, so here work dw is equals to tau d theta. Kinetic energy is equals to half mv square, kinetic energy k is equals to half I omega square. Power P will be equals to Fb, and here power P will be equals to tau omega. Linear momentum will be P is equals to mv, angular momentum will be L is equals to I omega. So this is the comparison between the linear and the linear transitional and rotational motion. Now, on the basis of whatever we have studied, we are going to solve few numericals or some question. Firstly, a body of m will be equals to 3 kg and rotating with an angular velocity is 2 radian per second and has the same kinetic energy as the mass 12 kg, moving with the velocity of. Here we have to find the velocity. So firstly, we know that half of I omega square will be equals to half mv square. So this will be equals to half, and we substitute all the values. We get v square is equals to 1 or v is equals to 1 meter per second. This will be the velocity. A particle performing a uniform circular motion has an angular momentum L and its angular frequency is double to its kinetic energy and it's half, then the angular momentum will be. We know that L is equals to 2k upon omega, then L1 upon Lt for two different things. It will be k1 omega 1, k2 omega 2, which will be equals to 4. When we have to find the Lt, then it will be L1 upon 4. So L by 4 is the correct option. Now, moment of inertia depends on distribution of particle, it depends on mass, it depends on position of axis of rotation. All the three will matter over here. So here we can say all the above. For increasing the angular velocity of an object by the 10%, the kinetic energy has to be increased by, see, firstly, let the initial energy k, an angular velocity omega, and after the change k dash and omega dash. After the change it will be k dash omega dash. And omega will be equals to 1.1 omega. So k will be equals to half I omega square, as we know. K dash will be equals to half I omega dash square. Then it will be equals to half. We have this equation, we'll substitute the value, and here we get 1.21. When we just solve this, we get 1.21 k. So here means 21% will be the correct answer. So these are some basic questions. Also, what is an isolated system? It is the system on which no external force is acting. That particular system is called isolated system. Moving to the next 2-mark question. Euler law of motion is applicable to the indivisible particle of the system. Still, we can describe the motion of the system in terms of Newton law explained. We concentrate on the entire mass of the system at the center of mass and apply all external forces at that point. So then the motion of the center of mass under the Newton's law describes the motion of the system. Now, so these are also the same question only. Why are there propellers in a helicopter? If propellers are in the helicopter, if there were only one propeller in the helicopter, then due to the conservation of angular momentum, the helicopter itself would have brought to the opposite direction. That's why it's necessary to have two propellers in the helicopter. What is couple? What its action? A pair of we say couple force like this. So what does it mean? So a pair of equal and opposite forces with a different line of action is called couple. A couple produces a rotation without translation. Now, 3 marks question. The moment of inertia, two rotating bodies A and B, IA, IB and some condition has been given, and their angular moment are equal. Which one has a greater kinetic energy? The kinetic energy K and the angular momentum L rotating. So K is equals to half I omega square, that we know. Also we know that L is equals to I omega. So it will be K is equals to L square upon 2I. Let Ka and K be the kinetic energy of A and B. So the angular momentum will be Ka upon Kb. So we'll substitute the values like this. And this complete formula is the formula for IB and IA. So but as condition is given, this IB is greater than IA. Therefore we can say that Ka will be greater than Kb. Kinetic energy of A will be greater than kinetic energy of B. Right, some characteristic feature of the center of mass. Characteristic feature of center of mass. The position of the center of mass is independent of the coordinate system chosen. First thing. Second, the position of the center of mass depends upon the shape of the body and the distribution of mass. Example, the center of mass of a circular disc is within the material of the body, while that circular ring is outside of the material of the body. In symmetrical bodies in which the distribution of the mass is homogeneous, the center of the mass coincides with a geometrical acceleration center of symmetry of the body. So this is the some characteristic of the center of mass. Now this is the important one. Define the radius of gyration and its relation with the moment of inertia. So radius of gyration of the body is given axis perpendicular distance of the point from axis, where if whole mass of the body were concentrated, the body shall have the same moment of inertia as it has an actual distribution of mass. When square of the radius of gyration is multiplied with the mass of the body gives moment of inertia of the body about the given axis. It means I is equals to mk square. We can write it as k is equals to square root whole root of I upon m. Here k is the radius of gyration. This is already we have started, but mathematically it will be k square root of I upon m, and this is the statemental explanation. Now 5 marks question. Describe the moment of inertia with some properties of it. First, we will have to explain what actually moment of inertia is and what are the properties of it. Moment of inertia that plays the same role in the rotational motion as mass play in the linear motion. As we have started when we are comparing, so it is nothing but it is playing the same role in the rotational motion as mass plays in the linear motion. It is the property of the body due to which it opposes the changes in state rest of uniform motion. Moment of inertia particle I will be equals to mr square. Here r is perpendicular distance of the particle from the rotational axis. Moment of inertia of a body made up of the number of particles discrete distribution, or this is the equation for the single, but when we have more particles, then it will be I equals to m1 r1 square, m2 r2 square, m3 r3 square, and so on. Moment of inertia continuous distribution of the mass treating the element dm and position is r, so it will be di dm r square, or I will be equals to integration of I square dm. So this is all about moment of inertia. MHC formula is there, m l square t naught, and then SI unit will be kgm square. Moment of inertia depends on the mass, distribution of mass, and the position of the axis of rotation. Also, moment of inertia does not depend on the angular velocity, angular acceleration, torque, angular momentum, and rotation. No, it does not depend on these characteristics, these points. And it does not, it is not a vector as a direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise, not to be specified and not to be scalar. It has different values in the different direction. Actually, it is tensor quantity. In each case of a hollow and the solid body of same mass, radius, and the shape for a given axis, moment of inertia is hollow. Later, for the solid body, because it depends upon the mass of distribution. So this is all about moment of inertia, how we can divide it for the different masses or different bodies, and some characteristics. Now, explain the theorem of parallel axis with the example. We have studied perpendicular axis in the parallel axis. So here we'll have to explain the parallel axis with example. Moment of inertia is I of a body about given axis is equals to the sum of moment of inertia of the body center mass ICM and axis parallel to the given axis passing through the body, it's ma square, where m is the mass of the body and a is the perpendicular distance between two axes. So mathematically I will be equals to ICM plus ma square. See, like this we have on any rigid body. This is center of mass. This is the moment of inertia, omega angular velocity, and a is the distance. So example is that moment of inertia of a disk. This is one disk about an axis, and center of the mass perpendicular is half r square. So the moment of inertia about an axis tangent plane will be I is equals to ICM plus ma square. This will be equals to half mr square as we know, and again we put the value here. Then we get I is equals to 3 by 2 mr square. So this is all about the parallel axis theorem. Now Describe the analogies between the translational and the rotational motion. Analogies between the translational and the rotational motion is translatory and one-side rotational motion. Mass is m, moment of inertia is I. Linear momentum is PMB, or we can say P and square root of 2ME. Here angular is L is equals to I omega and momentum L is equals to square root of 2IE. Force F is equals to ME and torque tau is equals to I alpha. Kinetic energy E is equals to half mv square and E is equals to p square upon 2m. E is rotational, E is equals to half I omega square and E square is equals to L square upon 2 pi. So this is the analogy between transition and the rotational motion. Now, let's see some numerical based question. Here, the distance between the carbon atom and the oxygen atom in the carbon monoxide molecule is 1.1 angstrom. Given mass of the carbon atom is 12 AMU, the mass oxygen atom is 16 AMU. Calculate the position of the center of mass of carbon monoxide molecule. Let the carbon atom be at origin and oxygen atom is placed at x-axis. So M1 is 12, M2 is 16, and so R equation, as no equation will be that, no position vector, so R will be equals to 0 I cap plus 0 j cap, and another is R2 equals to 1.1 I cap plus 0 j cap. So R will be equals to M1 R1 square, as we have already studied the resultant vector, then it will be equals to R is equals to 0.63 I cap or 0.63 angstrom from the carbon atom. Now, the coordinate, second one, the coordinate of the position of the particle masses, mass is 7, 4 and 10 gram are 1, 5, minus 3, 2, 5, 7, 3, 3, minus 1 centimeter respectively. Find the position vector of the center of mass of the system. M1 is 7, M2 is 4 and 3 is 10 and R is equals to I cap plus 5, means it's 1 only, 5 j cap minus 3 k cap. R is also given, R is also given. So simply again we'll put the value like this with respect to all the masses and the position vector. And we solve this, we get the coordinate. It's 15 upon 7, 85 upon 21 and minus 1 upon 7. So these are the coordinate of the center of mass. Now, a wheel initially at rest rotated with the uniform angular acceleration. The wheel rotates through an angle theta 1 in the first second and through an additional angle theta 2. The next 1 second, what is the ratio of theta 1 upon theta 2? Angular displacement in the first 1 second is theta 1 is equals to half of alpha 1 square. You put the value, it will be alpha by 2. Now again we'll consider the motion of the rest angular. So it will be theta 1 plus theta 2 half alpha and then 2 square. It will be equals to 2 alpha. When we solve both the equation, we get theta, the ratio between theta 1 and theta 2. So this will be equals to 1 by 3. Now, again, a force is 2 I cap minus 4 j cap plus 2 k cap, and it's on the another equation is there, meter position vector. What is the magnitude of the torque? So F is equals to this and R is equals to this already we have. As we know, tau is equals to R cross F. We'll do the this I cap j cap 3 2 minus 1. When we solve this, we get tau is equals to under square root, as we have to find the magnitude. So it will be under bar, and so whole square root of minus 12 I square plus minus 14 square plus 16, and we solve this, we get 24.4 Nm. This will be the magnitude of torque. Now, a wheel is rotating at an angular speed of 20 radian per second. It is stopped to rest by applying the constant torque per second. If the moment of inertia then wheel about axis is 0.20 kg meter square, then calculate the work done by the torque in 2 seconds. Omega 1 is equals to 20 radian per second. Omega 2 is also given. T is given. So angular retardation we have to find. This will be alpha is equals to omega 1 minus omega 2 upon t. When we solve this, we get 5 radian. Now, angular speed after 2 seconds as according to the question. So, omega 3 minus omega 1 minus omega alpha t, then it will be equals to 20 minus 5 into 2, it will be equals to 10 radian. So, work done by the torque 2s is equals to loss in kinetic energy. So, this equation will be equals to work done half I omega 1 square minus omega q and whole square is equals to half 0.20. We substitute the value this equation, and here we get the value which is equals to 30 joule. So, this will be the work done by the torque in 2 seconds. Now, We have a circular disc. We have a circular disc X of the radius R is made from the iron plate thickness T, and another disc is Y. The radius of Y of the radius 4R is made from an iron plate of the thickness T by 3. What is the relation between the moment of inertia Ix and Iy? So moment of inertia of the disk I is equals to mr iska, that we already know. So it will be equals to m pi square pi r square, as it's a disk. So we'll write the area then plus t rho r square. When we solve this, we get half pi t rho r raised to the power 4, as v is equals to p into rho, and this will be equals to phi r square r t rho, where t is the thickness, that's fine, and rho is the density. So I by upon ix, as it is between the two axes ix and iy, it will be equals to ty upon tx, then ry upon rx, and then whole co. When we solve this and substitute the values, we get 64. So here we get iy will be equals to 64 ix. This is the relation between the moment of inertia ix and iy. Now, a block of a mass 2 kg hangs from the rim wheel of a radius 0.5 meter. On releasing from the disc, the block falls 5 meter height in 2 seconds. Calculate the moment of inertia of the wheel. Here we have to find the moment of inertia. On releasing it from the rest, block falls through the 5 meter height is 2 seconds. So on the second equation of motion, 5 plus 0 half a t square, we just substitute the value. When we get acceleration is equals to 2.5 meter per second. Substituting the value of a in the formula, a is equals to g upon I plus I m upon r square. When we substitute the values, we get I is equals to 1.5 kg meter per second square. This will be the moment of inertia, and this is the formula actually. And we substitute the value, we get the value of I, or the moment of inertia of the B. After that, there are some case-based question. We have case, and on the basis of that case, we have to solve few questions. Let's go with the one. Read the following text and answer the following question on the basis of the same. We have one condition like flywheel and the swing machine. There is a difference between the inertia and moment of force of the body. Inertia depends on the mass of the body, but moment of inertia about an axis depend on the mass of the body and distribution of the mass about the axis. In the following figure, the masses of the two wheels where exactly is equals to A, and the mass of the uniformly distributed equals to a wheel V. Most of the mass is situated at the rim. Both the wheels rotate about the axis passing through the center. It noticed that which of the following wheels set rotation left wheel B continues to the longer time. This means the moment of inertia of the wheel B is the greater than the wheel A. Also, greater part of the B, mass of the body away from the axis rotation, greater the moment of inertia of the body of axis, such as wheel, it is known as flying wheel. Consider a foot operated swing machine. It has two wheels, and one big wheel, one big and the another is a small one, and the wheel are connected by the rope. The bigger wheel acts as a flywheel, and the rope transfers the motion from the flywheel to the smaller wheel. The smaller wheel works pulley, and also a small flywheel. We see even we stop a supply of a driving force to the bigger wheel. It continues to run for a short time because of the moment of inertia. So flywheel acts as an analogy of the reservoir by storing the supply mechanical energy when required. The kinetic energy will be A is equals to half of phi omega square. I is the moment of inertia and omega is the angular velocity. Which of the following cases is there? The four options are there. So we'll have to find which one is true. Firstly, moment of inertia depends on the total mass distribution of the mass from the axis. We have already studied this in the first paragraph, but still let's move with the another three. Inertial depends on the total mass and the distribution of the mass from the axis of rotation, it's saying. Now, if the masses of the two objects are equal, then the moment of the inertia are also equal. As masses of the body and object is distributed with away from the axis rotation, the moment of inertia decreases. With respect to the mass, this option A is the correct because inertia depends on the mass of the body, but moment of inertia about an axis and mass of the distribution about the axis, so moment of inertia equals to summation of mr square. How many flywheels are there in the foot operated swing machine? We have already read that two wheels are there. One is smaller, one is bigger. See, I have already highlighted. So option B will be the correct. So this is the case-based study question. Like this, energy of the flywheel is I omega square, already mentioned it there in the para. After that, subjective question is also there. Read the following text and answer the following question on the basis of the same. Teacher gave a disc to the student and asked them to reduce its moment of inertia. There are many suggestions from the student. Some suggested, since the moment of inertia depend on the mass of reduction of the mass, was the efficient method to reduce the moment of inertia. Teacher wanted to know how student wanted to reduce the mass. The student answered that by reducing the thickness of the disc or by giving its shape of the ring, mass could be reduced. Someone suggested that since moment of inertia of a disc depend on the square of the radius of the reduction of radius is more effectively way to reduce the moment of inertia. The teacher not happy. He was expecting some idea which not require any modification of an object. Then how? So firstly, on the basis of that, you'll have to explain what is moment of inertia. Moment of inertia is a physical quantity which resists the angular acceleration of the body. We have already studied this. And what is analog of the mass rotational motion? Moment of inertia is the analog of the mass of rotation motion. Like in the linear, we say only mass, but here we are saying it moment of inertia. Suggests the way to reduce the moment of inertia of the disk without reducing the mass or radius. If axis of the rotation is considered along with the diameter, then the moment of inertia of the half is about an axis perpendicular to the center. See, here it's not changing any object. What they're doing is, if the axis of the rotation is considered along its diameter, we are considering it, but along with the diameter, then the moment of inertia is half. See, it is getting changed. So this is what we can do. Also, what is the radii of the gyration when first case is the axis of the rotation disk is along the diameter. Second is the axis of rotation of the disk is perpendicular at the center. So when the axis of the rotation diameter moment pi is equals to mr square upon 4, as we know, for the disk particularly, then k will be equals to r by 2. When axis of the rotation disk perpendicular to the center of the mass, then mr square upon 2, or k is equals to r by 2. Okay, after the subjective one, there are some questions for the assertion and the reason. We have assertion and the reason. We have to determine which one is the correct, whether R is related to A or not, which one is true, which one is false. Like this, first one is a person standing on the rotating plane platform suddenly stretches his arms. The platform slowed down, and the reason is a person is stretching his arms increases the moment of inertia and decreases the angular velocity. So here both options are correct. Why so? Because we know that law of conservation of angular momentum I 1 omega 1 equals to I 2 omega 2. When the person stretches his arms, it means moment of inertia is increasing. I2 will increase. I is greater than 1. I1. So omega 1 will be greater than omega 2. So the relation, so the assertion with the following reason both are true, and reason explains the assertion as well. They are related as well. Another is the size and the shape of the rigid body remains unaffected under the effect of external force. Reason is the distance between the two particles remain constant in the rigid body. So here, firstly, rigid body is defined as the body which unchanging shape. Ideally, external force cannot be deforming a rigid body. Hence, the distance between all the pair of the articles such as body does not change. And so the assertion and the reason both are true. The reason also explain the assertion. So simply whatever topics we have covered, on the basis of that only assertion and reason has been given, and we have to determine that which one is the correct. Also, the equation of moment of inertia for the different disks, for the different rotational things and all, will have to determine these numericals as well. This is a self-assessment paper. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the chapter 6.